So, what made you start the walk away movement?
Well, I started Walkaway in May of 2018 because after a lifetime of being a liberal and devoted to the Democrat Party, always voting Democrat, I had a really eye-opening experience in 2017 that turned my life upside down, which was, Donald Trump got elected, and I had voted for Hillary in 2016. I was a two-time Obama voter, and so the media that I had trusted my entire life kept telling me that Donald Trump had like a 3% chance of winning. And, he was a racist, a bigot, a white supremacist, etc. And so I kind of went on this journey of research to try to understand how he won and how the media that I trusted had gotten it so wrong. And through going through that exploration, what I discovered was that pretty much almost everything that I had believed in that was being the narratives that are created by the political left are deceptive and dishonest, divisive and manipulative, exploitative. And so ultimately, when I came out the other side of that journey of research, I decided to walk away from the Democratic Party and the left-wing media, the ideology of liberalism. And then I decided to create I'd say like a community of support for people to walk away together, because I knew that when I went through this, I lost most of my friends, I lost family, I lost job opportunities, and I knew a lot of people were going through that. So in May of 2018, I launched a Facebook group called #WalkAwayCampaign. I put out a 6-minute video talking about all the reasons why I was walking away. And then I just encouraged other people to share their stories. And the whole thing just kind of exploded.
And where do you hope this movement will be in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, that's a great question, because, obviously I've gone through a lot the last couple of years. I was in Washington, D.C. on January 6th. I was on Capitol grounds, and I ended up getting arrested, FBI raided, arrested, thrown in jail. And I was one of the first people to get arrested. So even though I never entered the Capitol, and even though I didn't engage in any violence, vandalism, theft, or destruction, and despite what anyone might read if they Googled me, I certainly did not encourage any violence, or I didn't encourage the mob to do anything. But anyway, my January 6th arrest had a very significant impact on the trajectory of where Walkaway was going, because in our first 2.5 years leading up to the end of 2020, we were having phenomenal success at what we were doing, both in terms of getting out and doing live events, doing town halls, debates, doing creating video content, traveling around the country, marches, rallies, etc. And our fundraising was really, really strong, really good. But after January 6th, a lot of things happened. We were banned by Facebook. We were banned by PayPal, Venmo, Stripe, donor portals, email services, etc. So the reason why I'm bringing all this up is that I would not be being honest if I didn't say that had an impact on our path. And so, my hope is that in the next 5 to 10 years, we can kind of get things back on track to where we were before January 6th, and then continue to grow our movement. And ultimately, what I want to do is what we were already doing, just more of it. I want to continue to connect with minority communities like the Black community, Hispanic community, LGBT, Jewish, etc., and really educate people about the ways they're being brainwashed, manipulated, and exploited by the left-wing media, by the Democrats, by left-wing narratives about victimhood and oppression and things like that. And then I want to continue to grow our testimonial campaign. We actually launched our own app to replace our Facebook group. The app is called Walkaway Social, #WalkAwaySocial. It's in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. I don't know. That is just one solution that we came up with. I mean, ultimately, we may have to start again on Facebook. I know a lot of people say they want to get away from big tech, and then you give them opportunities to get away from big tech and they don't take them. So anyway, I just want to kind of get back to where we were and then continue the path of growth that we had, because we had a really good thing going, and we still do, but it's the left is relentless when they set out to destroy people, and they set out to destroy me and walk away. So, we've been up against a lot the last few years.
And do you think that the media is honest in their coverage of politicians? And if not, why and how are they dishonest?
No, I don't think they're honest at all, because it's the majority of the media is controlled by the left. And so they're dishonest across the board. One, they're extremely uh uh they're extremely hard on conservatives. And by hard, I mean, if they are telling the truth, they exaggerate the worst version of the truth that they can possibly come up with. They also blatantly lie about conservatives, Republicans all the time. And then on the other side, they cover up for Democrats. They refuse to cover stories that are unflattering to liberals, leftists, Democrats. And so there's very little truth in media. And the majority of what they talk about is, they feel that they have a good thing going in the way that they've manipulated minority communities. Again, this is why this has become kind of a passion of mine. And so every story that they tell is filtered through the lens of white supremacy, of systemic racism, of transphobia, homophobia, xenophobia, etc. And they're doing all of this to continually try to spoon feed their audience, keep them connected to a diet of constant outrage and hatred for the other side of the aisle, which is, the right. And so no, I think that they very rarely tell the truth, or they might start with a kernel of truth and then, do what they do, which is completely spin a narrative of lies that's designed to scare the hell out of people and keep people divided.
So, what do you think of Biden's time as president versus Trump's time as president?
I think that Trump's time as president before 2020 was pretty stellar, and even I think the left had to acknowledge that. Trump did a phenomenal job with our economy. He did a phenomenal job with getting people to work, lowering the unemployment rate to record lows. Things were done with our GDP that Barack Obama said could not be done. Trump did it. Trump was obviously very strong on the border, wanted to build a wall, wanted to minimize any immigration that was not merit-based, and certainly minimize illegal immigration to the lowest possible form. Strong on our veterans, and I think great with foreign relations. And then if you juxtapose that with Joe Biden, I think in many ways it's exactly the opposite. Obviously, we now have a border crisis when we didn't have a border crisis before. Trump also got us to a point of energy independence, whereas now we're extremely dependent on foreign oil, and our gas prices are through the roof. Inflation is through the roof. Grocery prices are through the roof. They're lying to us every day and telling us, oh, no, you have more money than you've ever had. And no, your Thanksgiving dinner was the fourth cheapest it's ever been ever. And people are going, this really is not reflecting in reality of my own life. And I do think that on the foreign stage, we've positioned ourselves to be very, very vulnerable, because I think that we come from a position of weakness now. I think we come from a position of being exploited and manipulated by China, by foreign entities, because I believe we have a corrupt leader who is very compromised, both probably himself and by extension through his family. So to me, it's a night and day difference. But the thing that I think is most relevant and important to me is the weaponization of the justice system, because I've experienced it. I've lived it firsthand. It's not just a talking point of the right. It's real. I know it's real because I live it every day. And it's just kind of amazing and a little bit unfathomable to me that the left is always talking about the fear that, should Donald Trump become president again, that he's going to use his Justice Department to go after his enemies, and he's going to weaponize. And it's like, that's already happening right now with the Democrats. And they don't seem to care at all. So anyway, I think it's a night and day difference. Trump, I think, was doing very, very well up until 2020. I do think that the COVID pandemic and the Black Lives Matter and all of that, I think 2020 was a bad year for him. But I think up until that point, he was the best president of my lifetime.
And if worse comes to worse, have you ever thought about running for president?
um, no,
No.
no, I don't see that ever happening. I mean, I do think it's possible that at some point I may run for public office.
Mm.
Um, that's not out of the question at all. But president, that's probably not in my future. But I think that honestly, I feel that I could serve the public and serve our country best by doing what I'm doing, which is continuing to grow the walkaway movement and get more and more people to wake up and walk away. But I think that in addition to that, when I look around at how disappointed I am by a lot of people in the Republican Party and their complete inaction in Congress and their inability to really move anything forward or get anything done or make any meaningful change or just to be strong and aggressive the way the Democrats are. I mean, it's like we're always going into a gunfight with a pocket knife or a butter knife or no knife. And so I think that it's going to be imperative that we have strong fighters on the Republican side who run for office. And so that could happen, but no, I don't see myself becoming president.
All right. Well, those are all the questions I had. Brandon Straka, I really appreciate your time, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It's great talking with you.